My mates won't believe it. What's the most favourite movie you've made? Whether it's been the most successful, or what's been your favourite movie that you've made?
It's very hard for me to say what my favorite is because there were movies that I have made that were a tremendous amount of struggle. Like when you do the Terminator movies or True Lies, or Predator, there's a lot of night shooting, there's a lot of stunts to be done, discomfort where you put yourself in the mud and you have the stuff on you all night long and you freeze your butt off. And all of this. So, but when you see the finished product, when you see the finished movie, then you say, wow, this really came out great, so I really like this movie. So there's a lot of struggle, but the end result is great. On the other hand, when you do a movie like Twins, you have a great time with Danny DeVito. You only film like 2 months or 3 months, and you drink your cappuccinos, and because he likes to cook, he makes pasta, and you have a good time. You do your jokes, you do your scenes, and all of those things. It's called Stogie. So it's and the result also is great. So it really depends. I mean, if you look at the making of the movie, I'd rather do comedies when it comes to the making of the movie. But the result of action movies, they of course became the highest grossing movies, the Terminators and True Lies and all those movies. So that's why it's very hard to say what is my favorite. I've done a bunch of good movies. I was very fortunate that I have been part of a lot of good movies, very successful movies. And again, at the same time, I have also made movies that went right into the toilet. So it's what I talked about earlier, that no one is there that has just successes. You always have failures too. And the important thing is that you learn from the successes and that you learn also from our failures.
All right. I reckon a lot of people will want to ask this question, and I've got my favourite. My favourite's from there's a whole the movie's littered with Commando. Those claimants on that. My favourite's when you're on the plane and you sit next to the guy and they've kidnapped you. They take you away. You lean down and you elbow in the head, knock him out, and you just quickly lean over and crack his neck and kill him. Rest him up with a pillow, put the other thing over him, while he was dead. Then you call the hostess. The hostess comes over and don't disturb my friend. He's dead tired. What's been the standout thing along? Because literally, you've got millions of YouTube channels dedicated to the lines you pulled out, mate. They're amazing. What's been your favourite?
Go to the choppa! Don't drink and bake. Or, nailing the guy with the long knives through the chest, boom, and then say, stick around. I'll be back. Hasta la vista, baby. When they're killing the T-1000. There was a lot of great lines like that. What's interesting about it is that you never know when you say the line in a movie that that's going to be the line that is becoming famous or that people like. You have no idea. When I did the I'll be back line, we had no idea. We argued, as a matter of fact, the director and I, we argued about how to deliver the line, because I always said, I will be back. And he says, no, I wrote, I'll be back. And I said, but it sounds better to me, I will be back. And he says, no, I don't tell you how to act, so don't tell me how to write. Just say the line, I'll be back. And I said, but it sounds weird, this I'll, this will, I just find it's weird. And he says, do it. So we did it like 10 different takes. And then one, worked. And so that's how it is. But I had no idea that when the movie came out and the line became so famous, I remember that as soon as the movie came out, people came up to me and they said, I was in New York, and someone came running up to me and says, Arnold, say the line, say the line. I said, what line? He says, in a movie, Terminator, the I'll be back line. I say, I'll be back. He said, no, say it the way you say it in the movies. And I said, I'll be back. And I said, yeah. And I said, right away. That was the special line.
Legend let off some steam, Bennett. Arnie, from obviously a young kid in Austria, of all places, to what you've achieved is more than probably the most highest achieving human beings in the world are ever going to achieve. You're one of the highest achievers in so many fields. It's just incredible. I didn't list all the things you've achieved. And I was going to ask a very poignant question, a very heavy question about, how did you get here, or did you believe this, or did you dream this? And you answered them all. You said it all. It's just, there's no questions that need to be asked. You've kind of covered everything that could be asked. But politics, did you, when you were, a 15-year-old kid in Austria and you had that dream, that massive dream of coming to America, did you think you'd one day be the governor of one of the biggest economies in the world? It's just phenomenal.
No, I mean, I had absolutely no interest in politics when I was at that age. The only thing I wanted to do is to be the most muscular man, and to be a powerlifting champion and a weightlifting champion, and to get into movies and all the things that I talked about. That was my dream, to be another Reg Park. But as you get older, then all of a sudden other things become more, important to you. And so as my career started evolving, and I started, started making a lot of money, and I started getting really successful in movies and in business as an entrepreneur. And so whatever, happened around me, I felt like this is really the land of opportunity. I mean, this is amazing, the kind of things that you can accomplish in America. And I was just so taken back by, we hear so many times about America's the land of opportunity, it's kind of a line, but then you experience it. That through hard work, if you're really struggling, if you really work hard, that you can do it. That there's no one there holding you back. That I all of a sudden started feeling that I should give something back. And that feeling started getting bigger and bigger, and then it evolved over a period of 15 years to the time where I just felt like, well, I should just, give up my movie career, I should just jump in. I think that I have what it takes to lead California during those very difficult circumstances, when we had the recession and the job losses and all of those things, and how politicians couldn't get along. So I felt like I should jump in and I should do it. I should not just sit in front of the TV like people do all the time and say, oh, these are terrible, these politicians, they are not to be trusted. Oh, I'm not going to go out and vote this time. And all this stuff, but they don't do anything about it. People just complain, but they don't do anything. I always say, hey, jump into the arena. Do something about it, because we all have tremendous power. So I said to myself, I'm going to take that power, I'm going to jump into the race, and I'm going to make changes. So it's not something that I planned early on, it's something that later on became all of a sudden a dream of mine, and a desire, and I jumped in there. And I can tell you, my wife was not happy about that decision at all. And as I wrote in my book, she freaked out, and she was sitting in the jacuzzi. I remember it was like 2 days before announcing. She's sitting in the jacuzzi, and I said, Maria, what do you think about me running for governor? She started shaking and freaking out and started crying. She says, oh, I come from a political family, I know what that means. You then would never be home, it would be the destruction of the family and all of those things. But, at the same time, my mother told her, I said, look, that in our family,